Hi, today on Elven Star Podcast, we're going to be having a little twist. My name is William Gordon. We're going to be doing some things differently today. I'll be interviewing Kevin Ferry. We're going to be talking what it's like to be a podcast host, an attorney, and a business owner. Let's hear what Kevin has to say about these things.
The Elven Star Podcast. And now, your host, Kevin Ferry.
How you doing, Kevin?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you for doing this interesting job. I feel weird in this chair over here, but it's all good.
You know, well, you got to be uncomfortable to get comfortable. So different things are good.
Absolutely. Cool.
So the podcast is something that you've been telling me about. I've seen it when it was just being constructed and built. Tell me about what inspired you to even get this thing off the ground.
Well, I had this belief that there was a lot of people out there that were just clamoring to try to climb to the top of the podcast world and wanted the status and wanted all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. Really, what we ought to be doing is just getting people back into community, getting people back to trusting each other and not really looking up to status, power, authority, and stuff like that. Because I think I have a firm belief in my real, behind the scenes thoughts that inspired me to do this was that we got to get back to trusting ourselves and trusting our community and stop looking up into the bright lights for the answers from, the biggest podcaster or whoever it is. And that's what this is all about, man.
Yeah. So that's amazing. I really admire what you're doing. A lot of people won't just take the extra, the average Joe person and just bring them on a podcast so they could tell them the world about themselves. Because some people aren't really interested in other things other than what they are interested in. So just to be able to branch off and pick up different aspects of other people, I think is very great.
Yeah, that's what it's about.
That's what it's all about. So what made you decide that this was the right time to do it?
I actually have wanted to do it for a few years. Probably some of it came, from COVID when you saw that people that had achieved this, these lofty heights of 1 million followers or whatever were getting canceled.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, wait a minute. If the biggest bright lights are getting canceled, then let's get some bunch of little lights that won't get canceled.
Yeah.
So we can always have like open lines of communication was part of it. And again, like I said, during COVID, we all had more time to think and dream, I hope.
Yeah.
People that were in fear all the time probably didn't. They're just worried about survival and all that kind of jazz. But that's a whole nother topic about going from being a fearless trial lawyer to having less fear. They're totally different.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons why I'm doing this is so people will have less fear. When you trust yourself and you can trust in your neighbors and you can start believing in others because you can feel when someone's being good and someone is just there to help you, man, we're going to just be a better world altogether.
And that's what it's all about. I think once we become a better world, this utopia society that we should be having will just eventually come to fruition. Again, just since coming here, just working for you and just being a part of this now and just seeing where you've come so far within just a little time I've gotten to know you is amazing. You're one person that preaches big about energy and just the positive things and just making sure I see you walk around the office with your sage, and I love that about you. With the podcast, you have your spirituality and you go about things differently. You have different hosts. I know you mentioned that Dr. Wu was here. And you also had an attorney here, Attorney Foley, and you had a plethora of other guests. What makes you pick these guests and what makes you decide who do you want to, bring on the podcast?
Well, first off, I want to just acknowledge what you said. That was really kind. Thank you. I think your energy is amazing. I mean, I love having you in the building.
Thank you.
You are like a Zen master, positive energy and no drama. Put your head down, do your job, but contribute in any way you can.
Yeah.
Just team effort. So I thank you a lot.
Thank you.
So bottom line is being open-minded
Mhm.
to pretty much anyone.
Mhm.
Like, if somebody has an idea, okay, this guy is a big-time lawyer, but he's also a clown in the Macy Parade.
Okay.
He's actually gonna be the next guest we're having on.
Oh, okay.
So bottom line is having curiosity.
Yeah.
They say that curiosity killed the cat. That
Mhm.
is a terrible saying, because well, it's not terrible. I shouldn't say that's terrible. It's not terrible because they gave cats 9 lives too.
Yeah.
So in other words, they're saying, "Go ahead, cat, be curious because it's worth it because you're gonna keep being reborn."
Yeah.
But bottom line is we're never gonna die. We're just energy.
Yep.
There is no death, really. We're in this body to learn, to grow, to appreciate, and if we're not curious,
Mhm.
what are we doing with our life?
Yeah.
If we're stuck in that little lane like a mule that's tethered to a pole traveling around in circles, and unfortunately, that's how a lot of people get. They get comfortable, they get attached to their nice little job that afforded them a couple vacations and a little boat and
Yeah.
whatever else, and they're just not they're stop there's the growth stops, right?
Yeah.
So to me, this is an opportunity for me to grow. For the people that having on the podcast, I learn a ton, and it's amazing. I'm constantly amazed at every person I meet, even the ones that I know well.
Mhm.
I learn stuff about them that I didn't know.
Yeah.
Like, people that have been friends for a long time, I have them in this podcast, and I learn stuff about them I didn't know, and I'm blown away all the time. It's amazing.
That's great. That's great. So, again, you learned so much about these people. What surprised you the most?
I really, how much care people put in the things that they do,
Mhm.
how much love people put in. We had people from a horse rescue here that are just, like, dedicating their lives
Mhm.
to animals that have been abused, and horses obviously have a special connection with man, right? Back in our history, the Native Americans, whatever, but, um, people's resiliency, how much they can get through, how much talent they have, how much creativity they have, um, mind-boggling. It's never ending. We are here, like I said, we're here to grow, we're here to learn, we're here to help each other,
Mhm.
but our consciousness really is a medium through which we can create anything.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely anything. The sky is the limit. And that's part of what this podcast is about, is like letting people know out there, it doesn't matter where you're at today. With the right mindset,
Mhm.
tomorrow you're on a new planet, you're on a new path. In a single breath, you can change your life.
You're right. And like you said, resiliency is something that is key. It's something that will get people, like you said, to a new light. Will just bring everybody up to a new heights. Um, Speaking of resiliency, so what challenges have you encountered with podcasting and just bringing this thing off the ground?
So, try not to get stuck in the model of, hey, we got to get to a certain number of followers or whatever it is. I'm like,
Mhm.
I can't go there.
Yeah.
All I know is that this thing will be as big as it's supposed to be,
Mhm.
whatever that means, and the universe will decide. And I have no idea how it's going to be super great.
Mhm.
And I won't even use the word successful because what does that really mean?
Yeah.
Success to me on this podcast is that people are growing, people are learning to trust, and it's having some impact, however small, positively, hopefully on the community, on the planet.
Mhm.
And that's all I can hope for. That's all I really want. And how big that goes, that's not really up to me.
Mhm.
That's up to forces beyond me. And I'm just having fun. And bottom line is, if you have fun with something,
Yeah.
it's usually going to work real well.
You're absolutely right. And again, this is my first time on camera. This is very fun to me. I just like even being in this environment.
It's cool.
Um, so what came up with the name Elven Star? What gave you the idea to pick that?
Well, I started drawing sacred geometry.
Okay.
So I'll draw Metatron's cube. I'll do all kinds of different things.
Mhm.
And I had just drawn the seven-sided star,
Okay.
which is the Elven Star. I love 7.
Mhm.
It's always been my number.
Yep.
It's a sacred number, right? We have 7 chakras,
Mhm.
7 days of the week. There's a lot of 7s. I won't bore the audience. I've talked about this a couple times
Yeah.
before, but so it really was about that. We had another name in mind earlier on that just didn't work out. Someone else had already grabbed it,
Mhm.
and I had to make a quick decision because I was like delayed by at least a year and a half to get
Mhm.
this off the ground because of some building issues we had
Yeah.
in this building. But it all worked out great, and that's how it came up. I had just drawn it. Um,
And you said what you called it was a sacred geometry, is what you called it?
Yeah, so drawing sacred geometry is, to me,
Mhm.
one of the most amazing spiritual practices
Okay.
because geometry literally is the way that we understand everything that works in our universe,
Yep.
the way that we understand each other, the way that we understand patterns. Pattern recognition is basically how humans survive.
Mhm.
And geometry, as one of my teachers says a lot, is the QR code for the universe. And geometry can light you up faster from one level of consciousness to another, or expand your awareness. I don't really like saying levels of consciousness because consciousness is, and it just expands. As you become more aware of your world, more open-minded to see, then your consciousness grows, and that means the size of the cage you've put yourself in with your limited belief systems
Yep.
is growing, so you're getting to run around in a bigger field. You
Yeah.
get to play more. So, say drawing geometry is one of the fastest ways to get there. It is amazing.
So I see your necklace or your pendant that you have on. Is that also sacred geometry?
Yeah, so I got this. This is a chicana. I got this in Peru. I was on a 11-day retreat with Robert Edward Grant, who is a polymath, great guy. People should look him up. He's a really cool cat. But this is a sacred symbol, and it's called the Chicana in the Quechua language. It's called the Chican, but it's like the Andes cross,
Yeah.
and it's got 3 steps going up each side. The steps represent different things, but essentially what it means, that word Chacan or Chicana, is a bridge between realms. So it's recognizing the heavenly realm, the earthly realm, and then the ancestor realm, the world of the dead and our ancestors. And
Mhm.
the center point in the middle is sort of the void, and then there's a triangle with a dot in the middle of that, and that's really just bringing these 3 worlds together in balance, putting things in balance. So the bridge to balance and the stairway to balance and so on and so on it goes, but it's everywhere in Peru, and the very center of this thing is supposed to represent Cusco, which is where I was for 11 days and
Yeah.
where we journeyed out of when we did all of our excursions every day, but to the Incas, Cusco was the center of the world, like the belly button of the world from which everything came. It's pretty cool, but yeah.
That's cool. So you mentioned you traveling a lot. You mentioned going to Peru. I remember you went to Egypt. You've done a lot of, I like to say, spirituality, traveling, and just some soul searching, if that's the right way to put a term on it. Have you learned a lot from that, or what's one of the greatest things you gained from that? What's your biggest takeaway from all that traveling?
That we have, like, no idea how awesome we are.
Mhm.
Humans are unreal. We are the most beautiful, infinite creation. We exceed any machine out there. We have, like, the quantum computer beyond.
Yeah.
We are just starting to understand our consciousness better than ever, and we're not even sure that our consciousness is really here. It may be non-local.
Yeah.
It may be that our brain is just a receiver and bringing that in. But by going through all these sacred places and having the time to just unwind and be in the presence of the pyramids and to be at these ancient sites in Peru and all these things, you kind of just get connected and you're expanding your bandwidth
Mhm.
to take in the knowledge, the knowing that we are all born with.
Yeah.
And this whole idea of having a birth on Earth
Mhm.
is basically just a game of hide and seek. We get stuck here, come out as this little baby, helpless little creature. Man, are we helpless, right? You watch like an animal in the woods, like a deer gets born and like, boop,
Yep.
it pops up like minutes after it's born, it's running. Little babies, we're helpless. But anyway, so the whole idea of being human is like rediscovering all this stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to accelerate that a little bit
Mhm.
and having fun and kind of playing with the archaeology and ancient sites because as a kid, that's all I wanted to do is dig up dinosaur bones and stuff.
Nice.
So I'm kind of doing that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
That's cool. That's cool. You're kinda living out your childhood dream
Yeah.
doing all these things.
If we don't stay connected to what our childhood dreams were when we get old,
Yeah.
I think we're missing the point.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah. And, I don't even think we really get old. We make ourselves get old. We age ourselves out, honestly.
Yeah.
Like you snowboard, you do a lot of other things too that people I know in your how would I say, in your age group will not even dream about doing. And I find that pretty amazing. You're very active for your age. I see you walk around the office, you're going to trial, you're just always full of energy. And that's probably from all this spirituality and your sacred soul searching.
Well, first of all, like, some of the little nuggets that drop out of your mouth, I'm just always like, "Oh, man." It's really cool. But yeah, you're right. We do age ourselves.
Yeah.
Age is a mindset,
Yep.
100%. And what do we have? We have a culture that kinda teaches us that, hey, the way you're gonna age is you're gonna be totally invalid, you're gonna be in diapers, you're gonna be in
Hmm.
a wheelchair, you're not gonna know who you are, you're not gonna know any of your family members, and you're gonna be in this really kinda stinky little joint
Hmm.
called a nursing home. Don't believe it, folks.
Yeah.
Somebody's selling you the wrong story.
Yep.
So you're totally right. But staying young is a mindset, and it's up to everyone to
Yeah.
decide how active they wanna be and how healthy they wanna try to be, right?
Yeah, it is. So we're going back to the podcast topic now. I just want to know, what are you really hoping to learn from this podcasting thing? What are you really hoping to get out of this? Um,
So, making the connections that I've made, I didn't really know exactly.
mhm,
I really just wanted to do it as a good experience to try to share and like I said, and bring community together to have people with different sort of viewpoints and little technical specialties or passions, have them share strange stuff.
so was there like another, I'm sorry to cut
No,
you
no,
off.
you weren't.
Was there another host that or another podcast that kind of inspired you to say, actually, I want to do podcasting instead, or instead of just like, making YouTube videos or doing anything else?
Okay. Sort of. In the
Mhm.
same way that I was inspired to be a great parent or the best parent I could be
Mhm.
by my father who took off on us when I was 7. So, in other words, sometimes your greatest teachers are the people that you see faults in, right? But if you see those faults, they're probably in you too, so you gotta try to
Mhm.
come to terms with that and figure out how you're gonna work through that.
Mhm.
So what I saw in the podcasting world is a lot of specialty podcasts, sort of.
Mhm.
Like even Rogan, he's like, he loves his comics.
Mhm.
He does do a lot of stuff about Egypt and like
Yeah.
ancient sites. But there's like an alleyway,
Yeah.
right? I wanted no alleyway.
Yeah.
Like, cause I do Tai Chi, right? And Tai Chi, the way is, and Bruce Lee said this, is no way.
Mhm.
So I've always been like interested in everything and I want to learn everything.
Yeah.
So, which is why what I saw from other podcasters was they're all kind of in a certain lane. I'm like, no, 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 let's blow the lane up. Let's have no lane.
So that's kind of your niche. Your niche is no niche and having no lane.
That's right, man.
That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. So, what are you nervous about anything with podcasting or anything that would come about? Because I know there should be some jitters or anything, just starting anything new like that.
The only thing I'm nervous about is that my girlfriend gets mad if my legs are splayed, and I have something called the man splay, and it drives her nuts. So my hips are kind of tight, so I'm really working on it,
Yeah.
and I may end up coming up with like some rubber bands that actually hold my legs together.
Oh man. Listen, um, I don't even know what to say to that one. So, what skills are you hoping to develop from podcast hosting, and what skills are you hoping to really gain from all of this?
Well, listen, the as a trial lawyer, right, I do a lot of depositions,
Mhm.
questioning witnesses, interviewing clients. So hopefully I become a pretty good listener,
Mhm.
but this definitely helps even hone that skill a little bit better.
Yeah.
Um, because you gotta stay on track.
Yeah.
You gotta see, what did that person just say? Was there a little nugget there that I could follow up on? Because that I think the audience might be really interested, or I am,
Yeah.
or maybe it's a combo. Maybe I am the audience. Like, who knows? But the listening skills are huge and we can all improve.
Yeah.
We can all improve in that because we all use this way too much. Use the 2 ears. I mean, we had 2 ears and a 1 mouth.
Mhm.
We should be using the ears twice as much. I mean, if you just go with sacred geometry.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably the biggest thing. It's just like listen, stay in the zone,
Mhm.
right?
Okay. Okay. So the podcast just started. In about 5 years from now, where would you like to see it at?
I don't know. Maybe there's a podcast awards where I don't get awarded, but the people that listen to the thing get to go on big trip. I don't know, something totally different than what they have now.
Yeah.
So, like, the individual people that are doing the podcast aren't recognized, but the people behind the scenes are, or the people in the community. I don't know, I haven't really thought about that exactly.
Yeah.
It might be nice to have, a little bit of a bigger space. We're kinda tucked in here a little bit tight,
Yeah.
and we're tripping over stuff a little bit, so that would be one thing maybe just, in terms of the environment of it.
Mhm.
It and you know what would be cool too? I don't know if people are doing this, but, like, you know, in radio and TV, sometimes they have, like, the I don't know if it's, like, the Today Show or stuff like that. It's
Mhm.
right in Times Square behind, like, a glass window,
Yeah.
so people can walk by and can see it.
Oh, like a live audience kind of.
That might be kinda cool.
That'd be cool.
Yeah,
That'd
something
be
like
cool.
that.
Okay, okay. So, is there a dream guest that you would love to interview or someone you would love to have on here?
Well, since, you know, I'm trying to keep it real and not trying to go for people with status,
Mhm.
uh,
Let's do both.
yeah, all right. So occasionally it would be okay. All right,
Yeah.
I'll break my rule once in a while, but some of the people that I started watching on YouTube or on podcasts that I have met and spent some time with, I'd love to have as guests.
Mhm.
Robert Edward Grant, Sir Robert Edward Grant, badass guy, like just doing a lot of cool stuff in the world. Love to have him on.
Mhm.
Um, Dr. Zach Bush has been a big inspiration for me.
Mhm.
Uh, Jayu Tall, who's a Bhakti yoga artist that I spent time with. I went to Bhakti yoga camp in California with him and got to know him, his wife. His wife teaches yoga, and I've done some yoga classes with her. Wim Hof. I'm a Wim Hof instructor. I
Yeah.
love Wim. These are just good people. These are people that maybe are becoming more every name, you know, common names, household names, but just kind people that are
Yeah.
trying to do good stuff, like just pure-hearted from what I can tell.
Yeah.
So those are some of the big ones, I guess. Yeah, that's what I can think of right now.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Thank you. Um, so for someone trying to start a podcast, is there any advice that you would like to give them, like how to get it off the ground if you're really sure you want to do this? What is something about that young guy, or not even that young guy out there, but that one person who sees you right now, what you're doing, and they're inspired and just want some words of encouragement or just some advice on how to do what you're doing?
I would say don't worry about having the best equipment
Mhm.
or microphones or anything at all. If you got something to say,
Mhm.
put your put your iPhone up on a table somewhere and sit in your kitchen and do it.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter. There's a couple people that I watch that I don't know if they're podcasters or not because they just decide, "Hey, I think I'm gonna do something today," and they talk for an hour,
Yeah.
and then you don't hear from them for, like, 6 weeks. Um, so just do it.
Yeah.
And I actually hope someday, and maybe this is something I can get going, that we have, like, community podcast, rooms
Yeah.
where anybody can go in and share, and, like, digitally, you can change the sign behind them, so it doesn't matter which, you know, brand you're trying to do or
Mhm.
whatever.
Yep.
Stuff like that, that'd be kinda cool.
Kinda like a studio, like you have like certain podcast rooms in the studio.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. So let's kind of shift gears a little bit and talk some more about the law firm. I know you mentioned you being a trial attorney. So, being a podcaster and a trial attorney, you're juggling both things now. That's another thing on your plate. How has it been so far just trying to balance everything? Is it difficult?
Well, it's always difficult.
Mhm.
I shouldn't say difficult. So, it just comes down to how you're gonna manage your time and what are you gonna prioritize.
Mhm.
So, right, everyone always says, "I don't have time.
Yeah.
I don't have time." You have time for the things that you wanna do,
Yeah.
and it's as simple as that. And I wanted to do this, and here we are.
Mm.
And it takes a certain amount of time, and that's it, period. So does that mean some of the law work has to be done at different times? Yep. That means maybe there's some more stuff I have to do at night sometimes
Mhm.
or on weekends, but it doesn't matter because I want to do it. So not that hard all in all,
Yeah.
right?
And how does the podcast fit with your broader vision of the firm?
So just in terms of getting out who I am,
Mhm.
right? Because that's the number one question we
Yeah.
must ask ourselves every day. Dr. Wu was on and talked about that a lot. He actually has a film, the Who Am I film, which is an amazing documentary that he did on himself. But that's been the number one question from time immemorial.
Yeah.
All the great sages, all the great philosophers, everyone has always said, if you want to meditate on anything, who am I? And then you get to, okay, I am fill in the blank.
Yeah.
I am one of my favorite teachers, Ram Dass, who I can't interview because he's left this earthly realm. He left the body, as they say, 2 weeks after I had got to meet him in person in Maui,
Oh, wow.
where I went on retreat. I think that was in 2020. And he came up with, after years of meditating and using a lot of psychedelic medications
Mhm.
and genetic plants.
Yeah.
His was, I am loving kindness.
Okay.
So this is a guy that like spent the last 40 years of his life just trying to figure out how to open up his heart, try to receive the whole world with all of its yuck, all of its messiness, all of its cruelty, but it's also this paradise at the same time. So that's it. Just meditating on who I am and figuring that out. That's the biggest thing.
Okay.
And this helps.
Yeah, it does
Because
help.
when you sit down with people and you get to know them,
Mhm.
you see reflections of yourself. You can see where your mirror is. You can see where you're stuck.
Yeah.
I got people on the podcast that might say something that's like, "Ooh, I don't really believe in that." Like, all right, why did that hurt me a little bit?
Yeah.
What haven't I resolved in myself that somehow made that feel a little stingy?
So, how can your podcast help educate people on their legal rights? I know you like to talk about other things, but is there another aspect that you would like to dive into, just tips from a lawyer or things like that?
So I think the number one thing that people should get out of the law is the law are sort of like guardrails,
Mhm.
right? And those guardrails are going to change over time based on what the people want. Because the people, if we're doing this right, and right now it doesn't seem like we are, but if we're doing this right, we have people that we're going to elect that are going to help shape the laws in the way we want,
Yeah.
right? That doesn't seem to be happening much right now. And that is a serious issue that has to change. But the laws about these boundaries, but literally these boundaries should be up to us.
Yeah.
And we shouldn't be looking to the law to decide how we're going to act every day. We should know that from our own moral code
Yeah.
and how we want to be treated. We treat others, right? How we want to be treated.
Mhm.
But when it comes to criminal law, which I don't do anymore, but I did a lot of when I
Yeah.
was first starting, and I loved it because it was such a privilege to protect somebody's constitutional rights, to be free to have to talk against themselves, right to silence, free to have a lawyer, to have private conversations. All of these amazing gifts that we have because of our Constitution,
Mhm.
created by some really, really smart dudes who were flawed in many ways. But the
Yeah.
whole idea that we should be not listening to Constitution because these were a bunch of dumb white guys that had slaves and all this other jazz. So what? Everyone's flawed.
Mhm.
But what they crafted for us has never been even close to made in any other country. And we have more God-given rights. These are not rights that anybody gave to us. The Constitution was designed so that the people that are in power
Mhm.
understand their limitations,
Mhm.
not so we understand ours.
Yeah.
So people are forgetting that.
Yeah.
We have God-given right, the right to life, liberty, and happiness,
Mhm.
freedom.
Mhm.
Nobody can take that away. And they are trying mightily lately.
Yeah.
So we got to realize that we're the stalwarts that have to say, hey, you're not passing this line. This is
Yeah.
what we got.
We
So that's what I think people should learn a little bit more about the Constitution.
Yeah.
And you can go online and literally find sites, type in U.S. Constitution, that will send you little booklets
Yeah.
for free.
Yeah.
I do it all the time.
Yeah.
And I hand them out. I have them in my conference room for people to take. But that's huge. Know your rights.
Yeah. So, like you said, know your rights. What do you think is the most misunderstood aspect of the law? What do you think people are getting confused about the most?
I don't know if it's one particular aspect of the law.
Mhm.
I think it's the general sense that people have been indoctrinated in terms of the law is just there to protect people that are doing bad stuff or to help people, win these big verdicts. I'm not really sure.
Mhm.
What I think people should really understand is it's not a perfect system. It's got a lot of flaws, but it only works if we have juries that are open-hearted and have compassion to put that compassion in action.
Yeah.
So the law, like for what we do,
Yep.
helping people who've been badly injured.
Yeah.
The law says to the jury, you can't have any sympathy. That means you can't have sympathy for the guy that's getting sued,
Mhm.
whose verdict may, in your mind, it may bankrupt the guy.
Mhm.
Doesn't matter. If that's what it takes for fair, just, and reasonable compensation for the person that got hurt, that's what you have to do.
Yeah.
But by the same token, by not having sympathy, you can't just say, okay, plaintiff, we're going to give you this big verdict because we feel bad for you. We have to prove our case.
Yeah.
So that's why sympathy's out.
Yeah.
Because compassion is the legal way of saying when they tip the scales, you can go into action and do whatever you think is right to make up for the harms and losses that the person suffered,
Mhm.
to replace their freedom, their loss of peace in their life with money. So the biggest thing is that people have to realize the law only works if people are into it.
Yeah.
They got to be into it. And it's so tough to pick a jury because literally 80% of them don't want to be there.
Yeah.
And it's tough. So I'm not saying it's the greatest job ever because it's basically free. You get by the state of Connecticut, paid $50 a day for 5 days. And if your employer does more than that, that's great. But so people are like giving up a lot of money
Yeah.
to do it. And I understand that. And I just love having a jury that says, hey, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
And, so we try to be mindful of their time and we try to make our cases as short as possible for them.
Yep.
So anyway.
So what inspired you to become an attorney?
That's easy.
Yeah.
So I always had a very, very strong desire to protect people from bullies.
Okay.
As a young kid, I don't know what it was. That's just how I was. I was hardwired for that. I wasn't a big kid. I wasn't the strongest kid. But if I saw someone who was getting beat down, was getting picked on, whatever, I was just going to do whatever I had to do
Yeah.
to make sure that didn't happen. So that was the genesis of it. And then that grows into, all right, so how does a lawyer protects people who are getting bullied by corporations that say, yeah, we know that we insure this driver and that driver smashed into your car at 50.
Mhm.
And yeah, we get that you have to have a hip replacement, but, we don't think it's worth that much money. The amount of money that should be paid on these cases, if it gets high enough, if we establish the benchmark that human health is the most valuable thing on the planet,
Mhm.
the corporations are going to be safer. Maybe we won't have to wait 3 years for a jury trial to get paid fair money because the insurance company just wants to offer you 100 times less than it's worth just because they're trying to pinch pennies.
Yeah.
So that's why I love doing what I'm doing, because we're trying to raise the bar for everybody.
Mhm.
Every great verdict we get where the jury sees big dollars for the health taken away from our client, we're helping everybody.
Yeah. And you always tell me that the human life is not really worth anything. You said it should be worth $1 billion or even more. You always mention that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what the number is, but the higher we go, the safer the world gets.
Yeah.
It's just common sense.
Yep. So was there a specific moment when you knew that law was the right path? Like, when did you know that actually I'm doing what I'm supposed to do? This is my calling.
I think I knew that I was going to go into law because I didn't know that when I was a kid, right? I just knew that I was protecting bullies. But
Yeah.
when I was at UConn, I was an accounting major.
Okay.
And I wasn't good at accounting at all. It was a struggle.
All right.
So I was just getting my debits and credits add up. I was always off. And I was like, man, what is this all about? And then I finally, last semester of college, I took a business law course
Mhm.
and I ended up getting the highest grade in the class.
Oh, wow.
And I said, booyah.
Mhm.
I said, in law, we don't have to have the debits and credits add up. We get to make up the answer. We get to argue what we think the answer to the question is.
Mhm.
That's the same thing every day when I look at a case. There may be a statute or a case that determines the way my client's case is supposed to go, and everybody has seen it the same way for 25 years.
Mhm.
And then all of a sudden one day you're like, wait a minute, that's not really what this is all meaning.
Yeah.
And you start to argue a little bit differently, and everything can shift.
Yeah.
That's what's cool about the law.
Mhm.
It's just that the more people are aware and that they become more aware, their
Yeah.
awareness grows, these laws may mean different things and they
Yeah.
may be more helpful for us. In other words, I think that part of my job now is to make sure that I'm injecting more love into our law.
Yeah.
If we don't have laws that are infused with love, they're no good.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. So coming up in your early young law career, young attorney Ferry, what was the biggest challenges he faced?
Hmm. Let's see, biggest challenge. Well, first of all, when I first became a lawyer, I was pretty afraid of, like, getting in front of a judge
Really?
and in front of a room of people
I
speaking.
wouldn't expect that from you.
Yeah, I really was. I was kinda shy,
Yeah.
and it was nerve-wracking, and, about 2 years into being a lawyer is when my daughter Blair was born, and it was gone. Like, once you had another life to
Mm,
take care of, it's
yeah.
like there's no more fear of anything.
Yeah. You gotta put the food on the table. You gotta
Yeah.
do what you gotta do to
Yeah,
survive.
exactly.
Okay, so if you could give a young lawyer an advice on just starting out, becoming an attorney, maybe wants to start his own firm one day as well, what's one thing you would tell them?
One of the lawyers that I worked for when I was in law school told me this. He said, "Do as many activities, find as many hobbies and interest as possible,
Mhm,
because the more well-rounded you are and the more interesting you have,
mhm.
the more people you're gonna be able to connect with."
Yeah,
So in the world of, like, jury selection,
yeah.
you always have something to talk to people about,
Mhm,
or your clients. There's, like, a connection. So that's a big one. And I think the other thing I would say is don't worry about going to become a poli-sci major. Like, literally, when I was in law school, like, 90% of the people that went to law school were political science majors. Major in something else.
yeah,
Major in art.
yeah.
Major in music. Major in whatever you want, and it will help you immensely in law.
That's great advice. That's great advice. I feel like a lot of people just, like you said, go poli sci, criminology, and they just think I have to stay in this niche area or this realm in order to go to that. And I've known some attorneys who studied music, like you said. Um, and I didn't know that coming off at first. I was one of those poli sci kids. And once I found out you could switch it up, it was kind of too late for me, but that was very interesting to me. I wish I knew that because I definitely would have went after some other things.
Yeah.
Um, so when you started your own firm, right, and you left wherever you previously were at, and you took that big jump on yourself. You took a very big trust. A lot of people don't have that leap of faith and they're afraid that it could go under. What made you just decide that, hey, I got to do this on my own? I've learned enough here. I think it's time for me to spread my wings.
I think I always knew I wanted to do that, and,
Hmm.
my stepfather, owned a small business. He had relatives and friends that were small business owners, so I got to see what that's all about,
Yeah,
how they're the captain of their own ship.
yeah,
They get to create the vision that they want. So, I mean, that would be another piece of advice that I think everyone should at least explore that. I think there's a lot of people that have the talent, the mindset, the vision to do their own thing
hmm,
that never think they can.
yeah,
They put themselves in a cage, in a box, and I
hmm,
think if they just look around a little bit more and maybe get some experience and see how other people have done it. So because, we need creators. The more creators we have, we're at a time where it's just like corporations, even in law right now,
hmm,
like we're like starting to see almost like the corporatization of law firms
yeah,
in my world.
yeah,
Like the law firms are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I'm like, something's going to get lost in that because they're going to end up being like a Walmart and it's just like cookie cutter law.
yeah,
And then people aren't going to get the same attention. The clients aren't going to get the same advice, because law is not just about solving their case.
hmm,
It's about connecting with them and giving them counsel.
yeah,
So I'm always trying to figure out ways that I can help my clients heal
hmm,
at the same time as I'm helping them make a recovery,
yeah,
financial recovery for their injuries.
yeah.
So I like to blend those two. And I don't know if when we get into this corporate mindset and the bigger and bigger, that that's going to be even possible.
Yeah. That homegrown, just heartfelt aspect of the law will probably disappear at that point. And it's kind of sad to see because we don't really have that much left, anyways. And the little that we do have, I could kind of see it just diminishing already. So it's it's something that we got to fight. It's something that we got to put our hands up and just make sure that we don't let it happen while we're here.
Right
Right.
on. Right on.
Um. So the biggest misconception about personal injury attorneys. I've heard some things myself. Oh, they're just ambulance chasers. They don't really care about other things. They don't even go to trial. They just want to settle. You're completely opposite of that. Just tell me a little bit about that. Why do you think attorneys get that bad rap for personal injury?
Well, I think part of it is true. I
Mhm,
think it's a lucrative area of the law, and there's a lot of lawyers that kinda dabble.
mhm,
Um, there's even some lawyers that I know that are very, very good personal injury lawyers,
mhm,
but they've gotten so big
mhm.
without enough staff to actually have the freedom in their schedule to go to trial,
Yeah.
that they're very reluctant to go to trial. And if you're not willing to go to trial as a personal injury lawyer,
Mhm.
you're usually shortchanging your client a little bit
Yes.
because the insurance companies, these I'll call them these beautiful monsters. They're beautiful because they have a lot of money that can help get our clients' injuries satisfied in terms of the best way that money can do it, which is not perfect.
Yeah.
They're monsters because of the other reasons I said, right? So they're both. I recognize there's good and bad. Without the insurance companies,
Mhm.
my clients, a lot of them can't get paid.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a double-edged sword, but there's a lot of lawyers that just won't try cases because they're afraid. They haven't dedicated themselves to learn, how do I get good at this?
Mhm.
You don't just walk out of law school and know how to do this. I mean, I guess there's probably some exceptions,
Yeah.
but it's a skill and it takes honing. And it's hard to get a lot of trials because there's so much pressure in our system to get your cases settled. And by the way, not every case needs to be tried,
Mhm.
but every case needs to be worked up with all of the effort, with all of the investment and time and energy by the lawyer and getting expert witnesses lined up. You
Mhm.
got to go to the mat
Mhm.
every time to build a cake so that the insurance company knows your cake is ready
Yeah.
and it's going to taste so good when the jury takes a bite
Mhm.
that they're going to get crushed. So if they don't see that you're building that cake,
Mhm.
you're not gonna get your offers for your clients are not gonna be nearly as good.
Yeah.
So I know for a fact that because we do what we do,
Mhm.
we're getting offers that are way above and beyond what some ham and egger guy
Mhm.
who just likes the idea of just settling cases without showing showing the court
Mhm.
and the insurance companies that they're ready to go.
Yeah.
So some of this, what you said, is justified.
Yeah.
And I wish more of the attorneys that are not willing to do that would at least consult with lawyers like me
Mhm.
that know what the true value of a case is when it's all the way worked up,
Mhm.
because they could send the case to us or to other competent trial lawyers.
Yeah.
They could sit back and get a potential referral fee that would be bigger
Mhm.
than what they're going to get if they actually keep the case themselves.
Yeah.
And that takes them giving up some control.
Yeah.
And I see so many lawyers that aren't willing to do that because they figure if they give up that control, they're going to lose that client or something else bad's going to happen. But no, what's better for the client is always got to be the main concern of a lawyer. You can never we have an absolute ethical duty of never putting our own interest
Mhm.
above a client.
Yes.
And if you're not thinking about, I got to send this case out
Mhm.
because I need to make the money and I need a quick settlement,
Yeah.
no bueno, no good. And it's the same thing I do when I cross-examine a doctor
Mhm.
who screwed up a case. Maybe it's a med mal case. Doctor, did you realize that there was 18 doctors at this other hospital that could have done this surgery safely? Why didn't you refer this patient out? That's a tough one for them to answer. You know, part of it is we have this weird system in medicine where we've all decided that we're going to sign up to be guinea pigs for medicine, and it's just weird.
So, what are your own pet peeves, if any, about personal injury attorneys or just the practice in home?
Pet peeves, pet peeves. I think that last question kind of covered it.
Yeah.
Is that there's way too many lawyers out there that aren't thinking, I think,
Mhm.
about their client's best interest and are maybe resolving cases for way less than they should be, and that kind of hurts everybody.
Okay.
And it's just not right.
All right. So, what is one thing insurance companies hope injured people do not know?
I think the insurance companies, by statute in Connecticut,
Mhm.
they're not allowed to talk about settlement for 45 days. I think the statute has. There's like a waiting period. But if they can sort of talk nice to the person, hey, we're going to pay your medical bills, we're going to take care of your car rental, and people think that's really all they're entitled to. They get kind of lost in that.
Mhm.
And insurance companies are trained to kind of be nice to make sure these people don't go talk to a lawyer. So what the insurance companies don't want these people to know is that they have rights, which include being paid for all of their inconvenience and any of their pain and suffering, no matter how short it is. So some people think, oh, I was only sore for 2 weeks or whatever. What if it's like broken ribs? Broken ribs are really, really bad. It hurts for every breath,
Mhm.
maybe for a few weeks, maybe for a month or two. That's a valuable claim because every single time you took a breath, you were in pain. Insurance companies aren't going to tell you that. They say, hey, we'd like to get your bodily injury case wrapped up too. And how about $2,500? Well, that case may be worth $100,000 or maybe worth more. I don't know.
Mhm.
But the fact of the matter is, what they don't want people to know is that you should probably talk to a lawyer
Mhm.
and explore your rights.
Mhm.
People worry about, oh, we're in a suit happy society. Just talk to a lawyer. The lawyer can just tell you your rights. If you decide you don't want to do anything with it, that's fine. You don't have to file the lawsuit if it's not really what you believe in, but at least find out what you're giving up. So I think that's the number one thing. And then the insurance company will never say, hey, before you settle this case, you should probably wait a year, which is what I always say.
Mhm.
You got to wait a year because every doctor I've ever talked to says it takes 6 months minimum, but more likely a year to get the full recovery. But literally, my experience has been doing this for 35 years now is we're talking several years.
Yeah.
Like literally like 2 to 3 years down the road, I've had lots of people that all of a sudden are surgical candidates,
Mhm.
when earlier on it didn't look like that, and it was all from this accident. Because when you get whacked, your body is now kinda in a weirder position, like maybe something shifted in your hip a little bit,
Mhm.
or your shoulder got a little bit out of whack. So your body's gonna compensate, and it takes time
Mhm.
for that compensation to creep into other areas and to make other areas hurt. And that's just the way it goes. So
Okay. So, without revealing any sensitive information, what's one of your most memorable cases?
there's so many. I mean, so many. I've had a lot of trials, a lot of cool experiences. I mean, I remember some of the losses, they hurt so bad. So
Yeah.
those I can't erase those from my mind.
Yeah.
But hey, but we learn from those. You learn way more from those than you do from the big wins.
Yeah.
But I remember a criminal case I had with a guy that was had literally been in a gang, one of Hartford's
Mhm.
main gangs for most of his life, and had been in and out of prison as a young guy and got out and then got accused of selling a very large quantity of narcotics
Mhm.
and somehow got my name. And I was a very young lawyer, had never tried a criminal case. And I went to go see him. He was in maximum security.
Mhm.
He had a $2 million bond, and he said, "You're the guy. You're going to save my life." And I said, "Really?" I said, "What makes you think that?" He goes, "I just know." Like, okay, so he trusted me. So
Mhm.
we tried the case, and I won.
Wow.
And that was amazing. And he went off. And he took the advantage of that verdict
Mhm.
and changed his life. I went to his wedding. He's still married. He's
Wow.
got kids. He's got a kid now that's graduating from college, I believe. He became a foreman of a construction company. So to me, that's one of the greatest sort of things
Mhm.
that's come out of a case
Yeah.
and so it's not really so much the case is like what came afterwards that
Yeah.
I think about a lot. I'm grateful that I had that experience with him.
That's great. That's kinda like so your most rewarding case, you would
Yeah,
say.
I would think so.
That's good. That's good. So, have your clients ever taught you something valuable about life?
Yeah, some of the clients that are the early on in my career, the ones that would say no,
Mhm.
hey, that's not enough money. And when I thought it was, and they
Mhm.
disagreed with me,
Yeah.
those are the ones you learn a lot from. So to the young lawyers out there, you got a really, really difficult client, just like the really, really difficult lawyers I have in my life right now.
Mhm.
I say, and you've probably heard me say this, those are our greatest teachers.
Mhm.
I'm not going to name any names,
Yeah.
but there's a couple right now that I've like multiple cases with, and I'm
Mhm.
going to be seeing a lot of them. And I'm like, okay, keep it coming because I'm learning a lot from this guy.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. You're taking a negative and turning it into a positive.
Try.
Yeah. That's very good. So, let's switch back gears. We're still in the lawyer realm, but let's go into boss realm now. So, what makes a great employee?
So to me, a great employee is someone that is always willing to learn,
Mhm.
who's willing to acknowledge that they've made a mistake,
Mhm.
but not have them crushed by
Mhm.
that mistake
Mhm.
and want to be better the next time. The one who's willing to pull the rope in whatever direction it's got to be pulled.
Mhm.
So they get this sort of mindset as I'm doing this, and all of a sudden they get pulled in a different direction. Hey, we need you over here. So willing to help out in whatever shape that turns out to be. Um, Positive attitude,
Mhm.
very little drama, keep the drama out of the office. No time for that in a workplace.
Mhm.
We are focused on a mission to
Yeah.
help our clients, right? So to me, those are the qualities that I'm looking for.
Okay, okay. So when you're doing your interviewing process and you're looking for a new attorney or a paralegal or just whatever we need at the moment, um, what are some aspects that you look? What is one thing that you always make sure that you have to check that certain box?
Well, I like to see if they're open-minded. I like
Okay.
to see if they do have um, interest in a lot of areas.
Mhm.
Are they exploring different things? Are they spiritually influenced or musically influenced? Like, because to me, man, like music, art, spirituality, like one of the first jobs I ever got in law school was with a firm that literally this is a pretty big firm too. The main guy who did all the hiring
Mhm.
would only hire people from law school if they were seriously interested in music or art or that type of thing.
Oh wow.
And I've kinda kept it the same way. It's not a total requirement.
Mhm.
I think people that have competed in athletics or different things are also very valuable
Okay.
assets. So I try to ask questions like that. But I also try to see if people are, um, willing to do whatever it takes to get the job done,
Mhm.
right? So looking for a cozy 9 to 5 and, that's not our life. We
Mhm.
do have times where things are gonna get busy. We gotta stay late,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, comes with the gig. Um, so when you're being a boss and you're leading everybody, what is the most difficult part of that? When you're trying to gather all the troops to corral everybody?
So trying to remember that when you're in operation mode,
Mhm.
operations mean that the law firm is operating and you're doing your thing.
Mhm.
You can't get lost in the operation mode. You have to keep remember that there's the training mode.
Mhm.
And our medical system has completely forgotten that.
Mhm.
Because, like, the military is in training mode most of the time,
Mhm.
and except when there's a conflict, then they're in operation, right? But they are always training,
Mhm.
sharpening their skills. In our medical world, they are in such operation mode,
Mhm.
and even worse now, they're in growth mode. They're all trying to buy practices and just buy other hospitals that there's literally no training,
Mhm.
which is why I love cases that involve lack of training in a hospital because they don't have any.
Yeah.
So the hardest thing is to remember that you can't get so lost in just getting things done
Mhm.
that you forget that you got to step back. You got to be a little bit of a motivator and talk about training and talk about things that we can do better
Mhm.
or things where we've slid.
Yeah.
We slid into some bad habits. Let's tighten it up. So it's just balance. It's a balance. Everything's a balance.
Yeah.
Everything is a balance.
Yeah. And you bring up habits. So what are the habits that you take to yourself that really contributed to your success?
So I would say in about the last decade or more,
Mhm.
it would definitely just be learning how to become more still
Okay.
and learning that that center point of that little guy right there
Mhm.
is where everything is known and where all possibilities emanate from,
Yeah.
right? That's the monad. So getting still, so it's been actually more than 10 years, more like 15, but that's really helped me grow as a lawyer and get better and
Mhm.
better is Tai Chi, yoga, the Wim Hof method, which is breathing, cold exposure, mindset,
Mhm.
sacred geometry. Every single one of these are ways to get quiet, calm, and still. And as I say, stillness prevents illness.
Mhm.
Um, if you can be the calm in the storm in the middle of a trial with a judge yelling at you, with a videographer whose equipment just broke, witnesses that aren't showing up or they're late, it's like this is live action.
Yeah.
So, right? It's chaotic
Yeah.
and there's a lot of stuff that's going to come up that is unanticipated. And the calmer attorney will usually do the best.
Yeah.
Do we get to blow up once in a while or should we blow up once in a while? Yeah. To me, I think you have to.
Mhm.
There's times where the passion has to be revealed.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. Sometimes you guys gotta let them know that I'm very serious about this, and sometimes it might come off a little aggressive or not towards the way you like, but I'm just so passionate about what's happening that it's just exuding that way. It's nothing against you or anything like that. It's just I'm really serious about what's happening, and I see that a lot, and I kind of like that because it's you put so much thought into the client and how much everything has to go into the firm. Your the business aspect of it, plus being the lawyer itself, is just the compassion you have about everything is very outstanding.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Um. So when you're reviewing cases and when you're going over your experts and you're picking these people, what really draws you to them? Is it just that their credentials, or is it something else as well?
Relatability for an expert,
Hmm.
they can be the best of the best in terms of their knowledge,
Yeah.
but if they can't communicate that, they're awkward in the way they communicate, they're stiff, or whatever the case may be, they've gotta be good communicators.
Yeah.
So I'm looking for good communicators, I'm looking for competence.
Yeah.
I want my experts to be the most confident out there, and if they make a mistake, own up to it.
Yeah.
Own up to it. The jury loves someone that can do that. For clients, you know, I try to love all my clients, and sometimes you can't.
Mhm.
But I actually have developed a new sort of mindset and goal that even the clients that are making me a little crazy, and that happens,
Mhm.
I'm gonna learn to love them one way or another.
Yeah.
And that means I'm gonna spend not less time with them, more,
Yeah.
because there's something that I haven't learned about them.
Yeah.
I don't know them well enough.
Mhm.
I'm just seeing the part of them that's maybe a little bit aggravating,
Yeah.
and so I always find that if you dig deeper and you spend enough time with them,
Mhm.
if you go hang out with them, spend a couple hours, spend half a day, I do that,
Yeah.
you will ultimately find that there's that sweet person that's in there
Yeah.
that has not revealed themselves yet,
Yeah.
either because they thought they had to act a certain way in terms of how they were gonna relate to a lawyer,
Mhm.
they had their guard up or whatever it is, or they just weren't feeling that you were connected to them enough, whatever, it's a two-way street.
Mhm.
But I'm at the point now where I can safely say, I will always find a way to love my clients.
That's great. That's wonderful. And a lot of attorneys need to also take that aspect because, again, the love part is what really is going to get the big verdicts and get the big money. Instead, they're just chasing the dollars. And that's one of the reasons why I was drawn towards you. Just the success and everything that you do from just a holistic aspect is what really brings people together. And the energy, just the room, the energy in the office, the plants everywhere. It you're not just saying it, you're doing it, and you could see it all around you. It just radiates off of you. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And it's great to see.
Well, it's not just me, it's had a lot of people that have helped me get to where I'm at, and
Yeah.
as you know, Leslie Winter Gordon is helping
Yep.
this place look amazing, and
Yep.
now we got a client who's actually volunteered to help us with our gardens, and they are amazing this
That's
year.
great. That's great. So, you've been an attorney now for how many years?
Decades,
Decades?
many
Many
decades.
decades, okay. So, what does success in the next decade look for you then?
Hmm. To me, just keep going on the path that I'm going
Mhm.
by becoming the light in the storm
Yep.
and the lawyer that's gonna infuse the love in the law, the lawyer who can open the jury's heart to see the suffering involved, not just for my client, but also for the defendant who probably got stuck sitting in that chair as a defendant, because some insurance company
Mhm.
didn't wanna help him out enough
Yeah.
to pay the right amount of money to get the guy out of there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just keep doing what we're doing, just getting better and better and having an office that's just working as a team, which we are working on right now, and
Yep.
we're getting there in a good way.
Yes, we are.
And I'm enjoying more also. And by the way, I learn from the young people too.
Mhm.
I learn a lot from young lawyers. They're amazing. So I want to be that guy that's like, oh, these kids, they don't work hard. They don't do they're doing great stuff.
Yeah.
So I learn a lot from them too. So I want to keep learning, keep growing, and just have fun. If I'm not having fun, I quit. I'm done.
Okay. So, let's talk about some fun things then. Let's switch some gears to some fun things. What are some things that not even your clients or a lot of people don't know about you? What are some fun things that you like to do that is not even law related or podcast related, just or not even you're traveling for your spirituality, just other things other than that.
Okay. Um, so I love Bhakti yoga.
Okay.
Bhakti yoga is the yoga of devotion. It involves chanting,
Mhm.
a lot of Sanskrit and Pali mantras that have been chanted for thousands of years
Yep.
all over the world. And that's a lot of fun. And there was actually a period of time, probably like 10 years ago, where I literally, for 2 years
Mhm.
straight, couldn't listen to any other music other than Bhakti devotional music.
Oh, wow.
So anyone that rode my car would get stuck listening to that stuff, and it was weird.
Yeah.
And when I finally started to say, "Hey, I wanna, like, check out some country music or some rock or whatever," I was like, "Ooh, what happened?"
Mm,
It was kinda like I was in, like, this, like, weird, like, tunnels, like,
yeah.
you're in this stuff. But it was good because that, like I said, that's the yoga of devotion, the yoga of the heart,
Mhm.
and it's all about opening your heart, and that's kinda like what I was trying to do as a trial lawyer.
Yeah.
Open mine wider, open the juries wider, even talk to the insurance company
Yeah.
in totally different terms. Because I used to be just a whirling dervish with these guys, and I was, like, way too aggressive.
Yeah.
So, my mindset and my approach has, like, changed so much.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I would say Bhakti yoga is one of the things that people probably don't know, and most people probably have never even heard of.
Yeah, I've never heard of this, so now I'm definitely gonna look into that.
Yeah, it's really fun. There's yoga festivals all over the place. There's one coming up in Vermont, I think in August, where Krishna Das
Mhm.
is going to be. He was actually a Grammy-nominated Bhakti yoga guy. He appeared on the Grammys on TV
Oh, wow.
long time ago now. It's probably 15 or 20 years maybe. Um, that's one thing that I do. We already talked about snowboarding. I love
Yeah.
snowboarding. I did just buy a split board,
Yeah.
which comes apart and you put it on and it put these like sort of grippy little bottoms on it so you can walk
Yeah.
uphill. So I'm gonna look forward to doing that this coming winter and
Nice.
hiking up and then snowboarding down before the ski resort opens.
Nice.
So peace, right?
Yeah.
New snow, nobody out there, no noise.
Yep.
The lifts aren't running yet.
Yep.
So I'm looking forward to that. Um,
Peace and serenity, quiet slopes.
yeah.
Um, so if you weren't an attorney, what career path do you think you would have chosen?
Well, I might have gone into teaching. I always wanted to be a gym teacher.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Always like loved my gym teachers.
Mhm.
Actually, and when I was in I think the 4th or 5th grade, so elementary school, we had these ropes that went up to the way top of
Yep.
this, thing. And my thing was how fast could I climb up
Yeah.
and could I climb up in like 3 seconds and then touch the ceiling?
Mhm.
So one day I went and did that, touched the ceiling, and I let go.
Mhm.
And I'm sliding down. I'm trying to hold on, but it was too late. And I'm getting rope burns.
Yep.
And I'm about to like fall from like 2 stories or whatever it was. And my
Mhm.
gym teacher kind of caught me.
Yeah.
You're 5th grade, so you're not that heavy.
Yeah.
So he was able to slow me down enough that I didn't get that hurt. So like I always loved my gym teachers after that.
That's cool, man. So, if there's something on your bucket list that you haven't done yet that you're waiting to do.
Yeah, a bunch of things. So a lot of that's probably some travel. I want to go to India.
Okay.
I'd like to definitely see a lot of different sites in northern India, go to some of the temples,
Yeah.
the Shiva temples, the temples devoted to Krishna. Um, just get immersed in that culture.
Yeah.
The Bhakti Yoga brought me into that culture in a pretty big way. And I've, read the Bhagavad Gita,
Mhm.
which is a great epic tale of Krishna and how he's up looking over the battlefield. There's this huge battle that's about to occur.
Yeah.
And he sees people and Krishna's trying to help the main character in the story who sees people over the battlefield that he loves on both sides.
Yeah.
And they know that their karma is going to require them to go kill each other.
Mhm.
And it just sucks.
Yeah.
So that's a really cool story with a lot of good life lessons. And then the Ramayana I've read, which is like a book that's this thick,
Mhm.
but it's one of the most widely known and revered stories in India.
Yeah.
Like everybody on that planet, on that continent rather,
Yeah.
knows about that book.
Yep.
Epic tale of Sita and Ram, and it's a really fun story. So anyway, I want to go there for sure.
Mhm.
Um, Other bucket list things. I don't know, maybe jump out of airplane. I got an opportunity. I'd won a skydiving thing from a golf tournament a
Nice.
long time ago, and I wasn't gonna do it because at that point, I was like, "No, I'm kind of afraid of heights now."
Yeah,
But I'm like, "I don't wanna be afraid of anything." So I actually wanna kinda lean into the stuff that I'm afraid of.
yeah,
So probably jump out of an airplane would be one. That's about it. There's always another mountain that I wanna snowboard.
yeah.
So bucket list there is to make sure I can get over and snowboard down some of the biggest mountains in Europe
Okay.
and, just keep on exploring. We have great mountains in North America, and I haven't
Yeah,
been to all of them yet,
yeah.
so I still have a few left.
Okay, okay, that's good. Going on a little cross country tour of the mountains.
Yeah,
That's cool, that's
yeah.
cool. Um, so you mentioned reading, your books. You're a very avid reader. Even outside of your office, you have I don't even know what to call it. It's like a little library outside where people leave books, you put books in, they take them out, and the community just it's kinda just sustaining itself that way. What made you do that?
Leslie, my partner, found out about these free miniature libraries somewhere,
Mhm,
and we ended up planting one, in front of our house,
mhm.
and that was so much fun. Even though we were at a dead end, people
Yeah,
were showing up because they have a website that tells you where they are,
yeah.
and people come up with their kids, and they're taking out kids' books and stuff like that.
Mhm,
So then we just decided to do one here, and for a while, we had 2 here. I ended up building one, and then I decided I gotta have one for handicap,
mhm.
so I made one a little bit lower, but, whatever, they both kinda rotted, so we have a new one now
Yeah,
and just one, but it's fun. We keep it stocked, and we stay connected with people that are cleaning out their libraries.
yeah.
Maybe their mom or dad had died, and they're cleaning out their house, and there's a bunch of books,
Mhm.
so we're just constantly replenishing it that way, and like you said, people can leave a book too.
Yeah,
It's a great way for people to learn,
yeah.
and it's maybe a little bit more exciting than going to the library because 'cause you're outside, and at our free miniature library in front of our office,
Mhm.
you're in a garden too.
Yeah.
So you can check out the garden, there's all kinds of pollinators, butterflies,
Mhm.
and it's just beautiful.
Yeah, it's a good relaxing spot to be at. And it's right in front of a beautiful park. So it's just a great place to be. You could pick up the book, read. I've actually taken my girlfriend. She took one of the books. She's actually reading it now. So it's a great thing that you're doing for the community. I really just again I can't go on enough about just how you are I can't even speak now. With you just spiritual aspect and just going on about things.
You've been doing an amazing job, so forget about stumbling over, like, one word.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I'm afraid for my job right now.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I was telling everybody before we even started this, like I've never been on camera before. I'm so nervous to be speaking. I don't know how I'm gonna come across. I don't want to be too tense or anything like that. So it's good to just kind of knock the dust off. I finally could say I did this. This is something I can mark off my bucket list now. So thank you.
Well, you got a job now, man. You're definitely the, co-anchor or whatever you wanna call it.
Yeah, I could be your B mic whenever you're out and you need somebody to fill in.
I love it. Cool.
So, that's kind of all the questions I have now. I did want to bring up your shirt because it's just so bright and colorful. What made you put this little number on tonight or today?
Well, there's a couple reasons. One is that the guy behind the camera always tells me not to wear this stuff,
Okay.
so I like to try to drive him a little crazy.
All right.
But no, that's kind of a joke. But really what it is, I like colors.
Yeah.
I don't like to wear white shirts, like
Mhm.
lawyer shirts. I don't like to wear boring suits,
Mhm.
lawyer suits.
Yeah.
I used to.
Yeah.
I used to think that was the role that you gotta play. You
Mhm.
gotta look like these little army people dressed in your green with your
Yeah.
army hat on. But now I'm like, "No, we're here to be creative.
Yeah.
We're here to shine in the way that makes us feel good.
Mhm.
Because when you feel good, people around you are gonna feel good.
That is
It
true.
just spreads on everyone. So, I like having bright stuff on. I like flowers. I love sharing this kind of stuff, and, I get usually some positive, comments, but
Yeah.
it's not about that, it's about how does it make you feel? How does the stuff you're putting on every day make you feel?
Yeah.
And that's that. So far, I've only had a couple of judges that are like, "Hey, what is that?"
Really.
Yeah, I went through a period where I was going to one of my calling cards, I decided was gonna be wearing different colored Keds
Kids? Okay.
instead of, like, dressy lawyer
Yeah.
shoes. So I was in New Haven once, on a pretrial,
Mhm.
and for those of you who don't know what a pretrial is, we spend a lot of time talking to the judge in the judge's chambers, and the judge kicks one side out, talks privately, brings the other side out, trying to get the parties to get closer to settle their case.
Yeah.
So after in and out, in and out, in and out, like 5 times with this one judge, she finally noticed my orange Keds. Attorney Ferry, are those orange shoes you're wearing? And I said, yes, they are, Your Honor. I said, I'm trying to work on a calling card. There's a really famous lawyer, Jerry Spence. You might have heard of him from out west. He used to wear like fringed, like leather coats. And so I always thought that was cool that he had that calling card, but I'm thinking this is going to be mine. And she's like, well, not in my courthouse.
Oh, wow.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So she wasn't too appreciative, but that's okay. For the most part,
Yeah.
if you're being who you are, especially at trial, if the jury sees that you're dressing the way you want to dress, you're the guy they might trust more.
Yeah.
Instead of just dude wearing the dark suit.
Yeah.
So anyway, so like I don't really have much of a dress code in the office. I want people to look neat. I don't want people to have dirty clothes on and stuff. It's not like I'm saying, hey, let's be hippies.
Yeah.
But I want everyone to be comfortable, be who they are.
Yeah.
So that's a good wrap-up question. I like that.
If you like this episode with a little twist, please like, share, subscribe, comment, tell your friends. The more the merrier. Thank you.
Brought to you by Ghost the Dog Productions. Barking from the rooftops, baby. Ooh.
The Elven Star Podcast is underwritten by Ferry Law.